joined IB CAS at the beginning of my junior year in high school. And so I've been actively involved in the community as many ways as I can. And to me, it was kind of a number game of how many hours can I have, because in my mind, it would look on an application. And so when I joined IB CAS, my most meaningful experience was the IB CAS car wash that we did. And the reason is because after we did the car wash, we had a circle where we talked about the true meaning of what it means to serve. And just hearing everyone's responses, it really helped me to understand, why do we serve in the first place? It's not about hours, it's about touching the lives of other people. And so to me, that really kind of solidified the idea of, yes, that's why we serve, and how serving brings inner peace within oneself, and it helps you to live a more meaningful, fulfilled life. And as cheesy as it sounds, that's really how I felt, and it's really helped me to impact in a way that I see myself serving for the rest of my life. And it's not about hours, it's not about that. It's about so much more, and it's about giving back.
My most meaningful CAS experience would definitely be when I was in Peru staying with my host mother in the mountains, and I was a little bit sick, and she came out and was taking care of me and just like babying me kind of. And it was really meaningful because I had just met this lady hours prior, and yet she was already treating me like one of her own sons. So moving forward, I want to try and have that level of love and compassion for everybody I meet, and just spread the same amount of community that these people have.
So my most meaningful CAS experience, I think, would have to be the United Way Day of Caring. I did it my junior and senior year, and I thought that both experiences were extremely rewarding. So my first year, we created like raised beds so that we could have the church eventually plant different vegetables and fruits and stuff for the community around us, because the community that we were doing it in lived in extreme poverty. Not extreme, but like poverty. And so it was really rewarding to make those beds and then come back the next year and see the impact that they had in the community and hear how many people we were able to feed and help. And then this year we installed an irrigation system, which seemed a little daunting at first, but it was extremely rewarding as we spent the whole day putting it together and then watching it finally be complete and have the water come out. And I think that that was the most meaningful experience to me, because like, especially the reflection at the end and like hearing how it impacted everybody else. And then I think it'll help me a lot in my future, because I realized how important helping others is to me. It's something that I don't want to be like let go after I leave high school, and it should stay with me for the future.
I think like learning about the family I stayed with and their life, and especially the young girl who is 9, Jessica, and seeing kind of myself in her, just as such a bright, curious, helpful girl. It has made me realize just how much I want to do personally, like toward something like this, and to mimic like the experiences I had in Peru. And in the fall I'll be attending Barnard College, which is a all-women's college, and this is important and relevant to meeting Jessica, because Peru opened my eyes to kind of that I want to be involved in helping marginalized women get education like Jessica, and spreading kind of that love and that connection that I had with her, and kind of using that in my own education and then in what I want to do. So.
All right, the most meaningful CAS moment to me was I went on a youth trip with my church, and we went to Cleveland, Ohio, and we gardened around the church. And it just, for me, it was a really spiritual experience, which not a lot of people, I think, get to have in CAS, especially because I'm extremely religious, I guess. But one thing how it will implement in my life is that I just want to participate more in my church and stuff like that, and just, yeah.
All right, so I would say my most meaningful CAS experience is definitely the Peru service trip. It took a lot to get me to go. I was a little unsure when I was thinking about going, but it was one of the most meaningful experiences I've had in my life up to this point. I think it changed me. It made me a better person. Helped me understand how to communicate with people and just how important community is. And I think the biggest thing for me is bringing what I learned there and applying it to life now. And I think I'm doing that as far as communicating with others, encouraging others, and just understanding how important community is and supporting each other is. So.
All right, so the most meaningful CAS experience for me was definitely dressing up as Peter Pan last year and going to Special Olympics, the clam bake, and then to, I think it was the Mid Lakes Middle School, and then just interacting with a lot of kids who have disabilities and seeing how, like, seeing a character come to life in front of them was like magical, and like it made, like, they were just so happy, and it really just hit home. Because like seeing how much they were all like, I don't know, they just like, so much trouble happens in their life and they struggled through a lot, and just seeing how they were taken, like they could forget about it all and they could just hang out with Peter Pan and Belle and all that for a while. It was just magical.
Okay, so my favorite CAS experience was the Peru trip that we took, and within that, my favorite CAS experience was opening up and being vulnerable, and I think that will help me in the future because I'll know how to connect with people, and I'll know that being raw is like the best type of person to be, and without that you can't have meaningful connections or a meaningful experience wherever you go.
Meaningful CAS experience would be when I went to the Dominican Republic. This is the most meaningful because it kind of opened up to my eyes to what I enjoy in life and what I want to do with my time. Came from like me wanting to do something with my friends to me like actually wanting to instill service work into my life and moving forward with it. Moving forward, I'm going off to college right now, and I plan on being involved in the community there locally, and my dream is to go overseas again and help out more.
Go Mad was my favorite. That was when we just like went around Bloomfield and helped people, especially elderly people that needed assistance, and we helped them with things that they couldn't do. And that was just so rewarding because I think they were just like so happy when we did it, and they were just like, they gave us like cookies and stuff, and they were just like, oh, this is so nice, thank you. And it was just so nice, like knowing that you helped someone.
Most meaningful CAS experience was the last night of the Dominican Republic project, and this was when we were sharing our rustic ties, and it showed me that even though like everyone that went had different backgrounds and different stories, that we could all come together and make connections with each other from the experiences that we went on. And that was meaningful to me because it showed to me that it doesn't matter where you come from or what you've been through, you can always make a connection with someone. And I'm going to carry this throughout my life by putting aside what is on paper about someone and look at who they truly are and try and make connections with them based on who they are and what their character is like, rather than what is spoken about them or what they have.
I would say the most impactful experience I've had with IB CAS is most likely when we were in Peru, and just every night we would do our circle talks. And it kind of just made me realize that not only are there external problems going on outside of the US, but there is a lot of problems happening in my community that I never really hear about. And it kind of just showed me that I need to put myself into those communities a little bit more, and to just let people know that there's a voice for themselves and for other people, and just to show that community is one of the most impactful things that any person could experience.
And it really opened my eyes about the diversity that is just in our area and what that means. Coming from a very small town like Bloomfield, and in our high school there is not a lot of diversity, and in the coming months I'm going to be moving to Penn State's campus, which is like one of the largest campuses there is, with a ton of diversity, and it really prepped me for that and showed me how someone could be so different from me, yet be so relatable, and just how to really be open to that diversity to a greater extent that I was not able to have before.
Meaningful CAS experience was when we went to Peru and we built schools for the people in the town, and they actually picked people to do the ceremony of blessing the school, and I was one of the people that they picked, and this was very impactful to me because I saw how much our work and effort that we put into building this for them had an effect on them and their town. And I will definitely carry this with me just as a reminder to always work hard and do things for other people, not just myself.
Alright, the most meaningful thing I've probably done for CAS is when we went to Rochester and did the gardens for like the people of the city. And it impacted me the most, or why it would impact me the most for the rest of my life, is because like those people obviously are in dire need of like food, and giving them support and like fresh vegetables will like help them and help everyone in the community to keep like striving and not go hungry.
My most meaningful IB CAS experience would be our time in Peru on our service trip, just staying with the families. They let us in their homes with open arms and let us into their community, into their culture. And I think it was just a great experience to feel the amount of love they have for each other. And they were genuinely just happy all the time, even though they don't have much compared to what we have here. And just spending all the time with the kids and helping them and just making them smile was amazing. And I think it's prepared me and impacted my life in the way that I want to work with children for the rest of my life, like children that are not as fortunate as the children in America. I just want to like leave and go to different countries and help as many people as I can. And I think this experience really helped me learn the things that I need to do and the skills I need to have, and it was just an overall great experience.
The future is to the college I'm going to is Hilbert College, and I'm participating in this service club that they have, that they go down to Florida and clean up the oceans and everything like that. So I just want to like give back to all of America and even globally and locally, and just show them how appreciative I am of everything that they do. And I think in order to create change, you have to start locally and then expand globally.
The most meaningful experience for me would be when we had our service trip to Peru, but more specifically building the school for the children. We had a lot of hard work down there, 2 full days of service, and we had to carry rocks for the flooring and do a lot of like heavy lifting, but I think what really helped the experience be what it was seeing the reaction from the families and from the community, and knowing that they had a closer school and easier access to education. So coming back here, I think all of us are more grateful for and take it less for granted the education we have here in the US,
how it's easy to access. We have public transportation, we have cars, whereas down there they have to walk.
So my most meaningful CAS experience was definitely the Tim Tebow Night to Shine special ed prom that we helped with. It was a small group of us that went out to this church in Rochester. We helped as dates for the night, and I think this really helped me because I've always wanted to work with special ed kids and stuff, but I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do. And I love working with people and helping, so I think that helped me kind of narrow down what I want to do with my life.
I think my most impactful CAS experience was probably just staying with the families and interacting with all the children and everything. And it's going to stay with me forever because it really just showed me the interconnectedness between humans and how you can connect with anybody regardless of language barriers or any. And you showed that we connected with our groups and everything in the circles and even people that you wouldn't really expect.
In the DR by laying down the piping for families, at the end seeing the water come out of the piping, saying all the accomplishments that we've done for that and stuff like that. And the thing that will help me in my lifetime will be seeing new cultures and helping other people around me in my community.
So my most impactful part of IB CAS for me was going to Peru, and honestly more of building up to it and earning the money to get there. And I thought that this will really help me in the future when I want to do service stuff in the future too, as kind of part of my career, because it could tie in to marine biology and stuff, because I can help people build their communities and help them learn about the ocean.
Alright, so my most meaningful CAS experience was when I did the Night to Shine with the Tim Tebow Foundation out in Greece. And what we did that night is we went out as, I was going into the experience as a general helper, and then by the end of the night I was paired up with a buddy, and his name is Jimmy. Jimmy is a wheelchair-bound person who suffers from cerebral palsy, and he and I, we really clicked that night, and we had a lot of fun. We went on the limo ride, we ate a lot of junk food, we had a lot of fun. And now Jimmy and I are really good friends, and we keep in contact through Facebook Messenger and other forms of communication. And he and I, he's come out to my senior night for baseball. His favorite sport is baseball, so that really helps out our relationship a lot. I've also gone and saw him play his motorized soccer, adaptive soccer league, and he plays in that a few Saturdays every other month or so. And so I've gone out and seen him there, and we've really kind of developed a friendship, and I hope to continue it into the future, and it will stick with me for a long time, and I'll always have that memory with him.
My most meaningful CAS experience was going to the Dominican Republic on a service project, and it was the most meaningful because it was my first experience with international service and serving others, and this is gonna impact my life in the future because of that experience. I have been open to doing so many more things and making connections with people like I hadn't been able to do before. And going into the future, I look forward to continuing to serve others, and in my career, I want to help humanity make it better.